This is the brand new Pixel Watch 5, and after spending some time with the watch, it's almost definitely going to be the best smartwatch for Android users this year. Google added a ton of new features, useful gestures, improved key health and fitness aspects of the watch, and they also managed to fix two of my biggest complaints with modern smartwatches. So if this sounds like I'm hyping it up a lot, it's because I actually really like what Google's doing here. To me, Google feels like the only brand that is actually putting in a lot of effort and innovating in the smartwatch space these days, not just claiming to be a little bit faster. Like, there's actually cool stuff that's happening here. So for example, they added insulin resistance detection, blood pressure monitoring with no calibration needed, tons of new gesture integrations, actually useful AI features that aren't just AI slop, and in my opinion, it still remains the fastest charging smartwatch, getting a full day's battery in like the time it takes to take a shower and brush your teeth. So in this video, I want to share 14 things to know about the Pixel Watch 5. Starting off, number one, universal gesture integration. So we've got a couple different gestures that Google was trying out in the past. For example, pinching or flicking your wrist, like double twisting your wrist there. These are now deeply integrated across so many different aspects of the watch, and it actually makes a huge difference. In the past, I wasn't the biggest user of gestures with the Apple Watch, with the Galaxy watches, like basically any watches out there. I didn't really use gestures that much, but I definitely will be on the Pixel Watch 5. So for example, if you are on a workout screen, this is one of my biggest complaints about most smartwatches that sports watches really nail. When you're working out, using a touchscreen is not always an option. Maybe you're swimming and the screen is disabled. Maybe your hands are sweaty and it's not really that responsive. Well, now instead of using buttons, because a lot of these watches don't want to add 5 buttons like a Garmin watch, you can simply pinch and that will scroll through the different workout screens, which is awesome. Of course, the rotating crown works as well, but having that pinch gesture can also be used when you look at your watch and you see the little glanceable thing on the very bottom. It might be like a timer, might be music playing, might be something like that. You can pinch to open up, for example, a timer that's running in the background. When it's open, you can pinch to resume, you can pinch to pause the timer. It's just like deeply integrated into so many parts of the watch, not just Google parts, but they also have an API for third parties as well, so other apps can start to include this as well. And the double twist of your wrist is a universal go back gesture. So if you double twist it, it'll go back to the previous screen and eventually get back to the home screen. The only time this doesn't happen is in workouts, which makes sense. Like, you're running, you don't want to be doing that. Also, speaking of health and fitness and stuff like that, number 2 on this list is, well, there's a couple within Health Guardian. So number 2 is insulin resistance, which I think is actually really cool. Google is using the same biometric sensor we had last year, but now they're able to estimate your insulin resistance, which basically is like if you're pre-diabetic or potentially diabetic. It's something that most people don't really test for unless you wear a CGM, or maybe like a once a year blood test could kind of give you an indication. This is something that every month it'll give you a little dot. It'll tell you like either good or bad. And if it says you might have problems with insulin resistance, that's a good sign that you can go and catch it early and actually do a proper blood test. It's something that hopefully helps more people detect problems sooner. But I did ask them, however, if somebody was diabetic, would this have any benefit to them? And Google actually told me no, this is not really tailored for people who are already diabetic. It's meant to be like an early detection. So if you are diabetic, medications and things like that could really throw this off, and they recommend just disabling the feature. The second one within the Health Guardian, so number 3 on our list for this video, is blood pressure monitoring. Now, unlike what Samsung does, and I love how Samsung has this, they've been doing it for a while, and you calibrate it by going and, using a little arm cuff and measuring your blood pressure. Google doesn't give you like an actual blood pressure reading. It just says like high or low. And there's no calibration needed. So much like the previous one, this will be like once a month. It'll tell you like, hey, monthly update, insulin's looking good, blood pressure's looking good. Or it might tell you, check in on this. The third one underneath the umbrella of Health Guardian is related to the feature that came out 2 years ago, which was loss of pulse. This one's called loss of breathing detection. So if somebody stops breathing from pneumonia or drug overdoses, or if they're choking, their blood oxygen naturally will drop, obviously. And if you have a sustained level below, I think they said it was like 82 or 83%, then this will automatically contact emergency services and hopefully help to save some people. It is, in my opinion, a really cool feature to add. It makes sense. Like, the sensors are there, and if this could help even like 1 or 2 people, absolutely worth it to add this feature. I'm happy to see that. Moving away from the Health Guardian, we're on to number 5 in this list, I believe. This is kind of getting into some of the AI stuff. So a lot of the AI in here, in my opinion, is not AI slop. It's actually pretty cool stuff. And one of them is AI watch face generation. I'm not a user at all, actually, of AI like wallpaper generators on phones. I just never use that feature. But on watches, it actually feels like something I would use. Like I like changing the look of my watch from time to time, and it feels like there's not a ton of options out there. Sometimes you have to pay like $1 or $2 for them. And this is just like a really fast, easy way to say like, hey, I'm wearing a black suit with a blue tie, make a watch face that'll match that. Or, hey, I want something more playful or something more serious, different fonts. You can tell it what you want and it generates it. Now, I had a couple examples with this and it worked really well. Some of the demo units maybe they weren't connected to phones or something. It wasn't working on those. But by the time it rolls out, I'm sure this is a pretty bulletproof feature. It seems so simple that they're using Nano Banana on the back end. And yeah, it makes sense. You're also able to customize them as well if you want to change the colors and stuff like that later. I think this would be really cool if we had AI widget generation in the future, like weather and things like that. I don't really think that's really far off. I think we might be getting that soon, but at least right now, watch faces are awesome. Next up, we have 11 new glanceable items. The Pixel Watch is just really thinking a lot more for you, much like we have on the Pixel phones, where it'll recommend like boarding passes or flight details or how many stops are left on a train route during your navigation. And it's all suggested automatically. And if you don't need them or don't want them, the one-handed gestures can easily dismiss them. Next up, we have Gemini proactive suggestions. So this is in messages. I think we saw some similar stuff from Samsung. But for example, if somebody texts you and they ask if you could share somebody's contact information, it'll pop up with their contact and you can just tap it and automatically share it. Something that in the past would have been really annoying to do on a watch. You can also like open a map or open calendar suggestions, just again, related to text messages. And it's, I don't know, should make it a little bit easier to reply from your wrist. Now, I'm not going to talk about Gemini a ton in this video. The last one I want to mention is offline Gemini. This is really going to be for watch controls, which in my opinion is a huge win for smartwatches. It's been like Samsung did a great job with this as well. Asking your watch to set timers and start workouts and stuff like that just makes it easier to not have to swipe around a tiny interface. And having this offline just also makes it easier. Now, shifting gears to workout tracking, there's some big improvements here in accuracy of GPS. Particularly, they're looking at urban environments. So the first thing that they're doing is they're using differential GPS. Essentially, GPS is a whole bunch of satellites communicating to your device. But if you have, clock drift or weather conditions, there's different things that could make it less accurate. So differential GPS uses like known locations and really basically calibrates how different satellites are off and compensates and should make it more accurate. The second thing of the little three-prong accuracy approach, like I said, is dual-band GPS. And the third one's the most interesting in my opinion, which is compensating for the reflections off of buildings. It's using the 3D models. So Google has like their, not street view, but like if you zoom in on a city, they show you like the buildings and stuff. So Google knows how big buildings are and where things are. And they're using these to essentially model how the GPS would reflect and compensating for that to give you even more accurate GPS. And therefore, it's not ideally going to have you like running through buildings and stuff like that as old GPS models used to. So I'm really excited to try this. By the way, I will be using this very extensively, full test, and I will be making a video in a couple weeks. If you guys want to see that, as well as comparisons to, for example, the Galaxy Watch, be sure to subscribe to the channel and of course, leave a comment. Let me know what else I should compare this to. So I think it's great that a lot of smartwatches are really optimized for cardio. They're good for, swimming, for running, for cycling. That's a huge focus for these, but a lot of people wear them when they're strength training as well. I mean, that's probably half the workouts I do. Half might be cardio. Half of them are definitely lifting. And in the past, I would just kind of set it as like general workout or strength workout or something. But now they have a workout builder on here, which uses, the health coach, the AI features based on like what you did last week, what kind of weights and reps you did, any injuries you might have. And it can create workouts for you based on your goals and based on that stuff. And it can walk you through every single thing, like one exercise at a time. It'll tell you how many reps to do. You can adjust that. And it all shows up on your watch really easily. In the past, workout builders did sort of exist, but it was a lot more manual, like selecting individual exercises. And while you still can do this manually, having it kind of AI generated is kind of a cool start to this, in my opinion. So this definitely isn't going to be for everybody. Some people just like going to the gym and doing their own thing, but there's plenty of people who just kind of struggle to be creative and come up with new exercises, or you find yourself doing the same like 4 machines in the gym. This could be a great way to change it up, prevent injuries, track last week's weights, and also like do all of that from your wrist without ever having to, take your phone out. This is also 15% more accurate for sleep tracking. And with that sleep tracking, you get a smart wake alarm, and a couple other sleep tracking things. The Pixel Watch has been doing a good job for this. The Fitbit Air has been doing a good job for this. So it's no surprise that, in my opinion, this will be a really good sleep tracker as well. Moving on to the next one on this list, the internals. So this is 20% faster than the Pixel Watch 4, according to Google, with a 12% faster CPU. I forgot to ask them why 20% and 12%, like if the CPU is faster. I don't know what 20% is, if they're talking about like, GPU or other aspects of this. Are they talking about animations being a little bit reduced? 20% faster, I don't know. Honestly, that doesn't mean a ton to me. It's probably gonna feel fairly similar. From opening apps and using Gemini, it felt really similar to me. It's a fast enough watch in my opinion. As far as colors and design goes, there are 2 different sizes and 4 total colors, both the small and the large, so 41 and 45 millimeters. They both have the same 3 colors at base, and the smaller model has a 4th extra color. So you have obsidian, fog, and olive, so like a black, white, and kind of a really cool greenish color. Both sizes have that. The smaller one also has what's called canyon, which is kind of like a gold and like a orangey salmon color kind of. Canyon makes sense. Like I think it's pretty well named. The prices for them, $399 for the small one, $429 for the larger version. And okay, I think we're on, that was like 11, 12, 13. This is the 14th one now. Last thing to know about this is everything that's similar to last year. So the design is essentially the same. Stainless steel case, rotating crown, a secondary button on the right side as well, microphone, speaker. On the left side, you've got your nodes for, charging on the little charging puck. You still have a 40-hour battery life on here. It charges 50% in 15 minutes. They come in 2 sizes, like I said. You still have satellite communications for like satellite SOS. You've got LTE on here, optional but not required Fitbit Premium subscription. So that's going to be a lot of those AI features. Probably the AI generated workouts that have like videos. That makes sense. That would be behind the paywall. I'll confirm that once I actually, test the watch a lot more. But otherwise, a lot to really like about this watch. Like I said, they fixed 2 of my biggest problems with smartwatches. The battery life, even though 40 hours is not that long, the fast charging, like I can top this off every day while I'm showering. And it's not like, the Galaxy Watch or a lot of other watches, they take way more than 15 minutes to get a day out of battery life there. And the second big thing that I think this fixed was the gestures, kind of managing those workout screens when you're swimming or something like that. So in summary, Google added a lot of new features. Instead of AI slop, I think the custom watch faces and stuff like that actually really fun and useful. The GPS accuracy improvements and strength training really shows that they care a lot more about a good workout device here. And the Health Guardian, in my opinion, is pretty innovative and could potentially help a lot of people without needing, blood tests and calibration to really, get this thing accurate. And the design, the charging time, and smooth UI make this probably my favorite smartwatch for Android users right now. Let me know what you think about the Pixel Watch 5, and I'll see you in that comparison video.